Soldier Field, Chicago. The eyes of the world will be on this stadium when the World Cup kicks off here at the weekend. But football is only a temporary lodger, because this ground is home to the Chicago Bears, one of the all-time great American football teams. Of course, this isn't proper football, but try telling that to millions of Americans who see gridiron, baseball, basketball and even ice hockey as a way of life. With so much competition, it's no wonder footy's struggling to make an impact. So will Americans ever adopt the greatest game in the world? We've been checking out the arguments and we found one fella who reckons he's got the answer.
The only kids who play soccer here are the kids who couldn't learn how to catch a ball. The clumsy, sissy kids.
If you ask the average American what they know about soccer, they might say that you can't use your hands and the rest of the world is mad about it.
If you ask most people around here, they don't know that the World Cup is coming to the United States.
Americans have always had a problem with footy. Even the combined talents of Pelé, Best and Beckenbauer, who played in the failed North American Soccer League of the 70s, couldn't convince them that football was actually better if you played it with your feet. Now, the greatest show on earth is about to blast off in their own backyard. And as part of the World Cup deal, the Americans have to set up a professional league next year. However, they know it won't be easy.
When we start Major League Soccer, we don't intend from the get-go to fill up 91,000-seat stadiums. Our business plan assumes in that first year 12,500 attendance as an average. So we're being sensible, we're being modest, and assuming that we will build from a rather humble beginning and then add to that as time goes by.
On the 15th floor of Trump Tower in New York, even the men who run CONCACAF, America's equivalent of UEFA, reckon football has to know its place in the sporting hierarchy.
I definitely believe football can survive in the United States, but not at the same level as, say, baseball, basketball, American football. As you can see with attendances at the United States national team games throughout different cities in the U.S. and regional leagues that are popping up all around the country, that there is a place for it. But it has to realize its place, and it may not be able to exist against the other major sports if it tries to go up against them directly.
So will football ever compete with traditional Yankee sports? One theory says that the only way to make Americans love the game is to make the game American.
We believe that soccer can succeed in this country. We believe it requires substantial changes in some areas, fundamental changes in other areas, and radical changes in yet other areas.
And that's just what he intends to do. Meet Jim Pagalia, the Chicago marketing wizard who is reinventing soccer, turning it into a game the Americans will relate to and that we won't recognise. He's already set the wheels in motion to start up a brand new version of the sport, similar to the way Australians reinvented rugby and came up with Aussie rules football.
We've come to the conclusion that soccer does not offer some of the basic characteristics that Americans seek. Traditional soccer is improvisational. Americans don't want that in their outdoor sports. Traditional soccer is poetic. Americans don't necessarily seek that in their outdoor sports. They want something that has different characteristics, and that's what we've put together.
And we got the world-exclusive preview.
Simon, it's right in here.
Jim Palia's plan is not so much a blueprint as a blue, red and yellow print.
What is going on here?
That is the future of soccer in America. It's really very simple, Simon. There are zones on the field. Players are limited to the zones that they are allowed to enter. Each player has access to 2/3 of the field. If you score from inside the red, it's worth 1 point. Inside the blue is worth 2 points. Inside the yellow or beyond is worth 3 points. We're working with the duration. We may not play 2 equal halves. We may play 3 periods.
Put in a nutshell, it's called zone soccer. Played on a multicoloured pitch with points for goals. Your A team plays the first 30 minutes, your B team plays the second, and you mix them up at the end. There's no draws allowed, you have 8 match officials, and the players play in body stockings, not shorts.
It's football, Jim, but not as we know it.
The object really isn't to alter soccer, it's to make the game more spectator-friendly. We want to allow spectators to be able to speculate as to what comes next and to anticipate.
And it's not just a dream, it's a $700 million project. A major construction firm has already been appointed to build a series of identical grounds and entertainment complexes. The new league is due for launch in May next year.
My goal now is to put the best entertainment product I can in 12 American cities, and I believe that the game will grow.
Zone Soccer faces stiff opposition from Alan Rothenberg, who beat Pagalia in the race for the professional soccer franchise last year. Although Pagalia insists his version is not an attempt to replace the real game, he's clearly rattled a few cages.
It's going to be a tall enough order for one First Division league to succeed in this country. I think if more than one league tries it, it'll probably damage all of them and could doom the whole exercise to failure. I think it would be foolhardy of the U.S. Soccer Federation and FIFA to endorse more than one league.
There are better players in the streets of Chicago, New York, and Miami than there are on the U.S. national team today.
He's got the game, he's got the grounds, and he reckons he'll get the players. Now all he needs is to sell it to the people.
Ask me in 10 years, because we're still going to be here. And I'm absolutely convinced that we will be in place and functioning and prospering 10 years from now.